Durban is very diverse in terms of, because the communities are so knitted together. There's so many different, the income level. It's so diverse in Durban. It's difficult to target, right? To target them properly.
Okay, I mean, the digital marketing space, I think, really boomed when COVID came because, for many reasons, best known to all of us, people were sitting at home and they didn't have the opportunity to go out. Um, so you spend more time on your computers, you spend more time in the digital space, and then that's when they got conscientious about looking at digital advertising, buying online. Is that when you saw a big takeoff in your business as well?
Yeah. So when I came down to Durban in 2015, I struggled. To be honest with you, I struggled on the digital side because my primary business was web design, WordPress. That was my primary business at that time, 7 years ago, and I struggled to break into the market. And COVID was like a lifesaver for me. COVID came and changed the game around. In fact, COVID transformed my business like 5,000%.
Okay.
So I do a lot of training. I do a lot of coaching and training. And I used to do it face to face in a classroom. And I used to take in 20 people at a time. During COVID, I think I onboarded over 500 clients on Zoom.
Right. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of tonight's topic, and the essential one being the differences between digital marketing and physical activation marketing. So take us through the concept. What is digital marketing and what is physical activation marketing?
So digital marketing is anything online, website, social media, WhatsApp, SMSs, email marketing, all of that is digital marketing. It all is umbrella term for anything to do with connected to the internet.
Okay.
Physical is offline, in person, uh, print, and when activations where you're having actual promotion stands, pop-up shops. That's what's physical. Your business card is a physical activation. Newspaper, print, all of those are all those are physical.
So your radio station ads, which we have here, would fall under the category of digital marketing.
Yes, I would say radio is digital because you're now streaming.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So you're going out there. Yeah, I would pretty much categorize it as
Yeah,
digital.
even TV. I mean, TV is on Netflix now. I mean, that's all streaming.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a business, a hypothetical scenario. They have a certain budget. How do they decide which approach to use, digital or physical activation?
So first, they got to see their audience. Where is their audience hanging out? If they are in Nongoma and they are buying hardware products and they don't have access to a smartphone or internet, it makes sense to print out those pamphlets and give it to them.
Right.
So you gotta first see where your audience is hanging out, and then you choose the media. If your audience is on TikTok, then you would go on to TikTok. If they're not on TikTok, it doesn't make sense for you to invest in that medium.
Yes, but by the same token, there would be a need sometimes for a combination.
Yes. So my advice is you need an omni-channel strategy. Like I meet a lot of people, especially in Durban, they say, listen, I don't carry a business card because I'm digital. I'm gone digital.
Right.
Now, me being a digital person, I always carry a business card
Okay.
because I know where sometimes I might find somebody's card. Somebody gave me a card 5 years ago. I find that card in my bag and it reminds me, hey, I'm supposed to phone that guy.
All right.
So for me, that business card is gold, even though it's a physical offline marketing. It's a traditional marketing. So I think you need to have both a digital, but the split will be depending on where your audience is hanging out. You got to have a split.
Okay, tell us about the traditional forms of marketing, because when I started off in the financial services sector, for example, besides advertising on the radio station, the major form of advertising was through your periodicals. You have all of these Islamic um, um, so-called books or newsletters or monthly. It's like Al Kalam being an example. and there's many others. And that's where we kind of went to reach out to our audience, and that's where we found the audience, and I must admit, very successfully at the time. Nowadays, you ask me, I used to at one time subscribe to maybe definitely on a daily basis the Mercury and the Daily News, Independent on Saturday, Sunday Times, Sunday Tribune, and now I don't subscribe to any of those because you're kind of reading everything online. So where, over time the ad spend, so to speak, has it shifted away from newspapers in a dramatic way and gone digital?
It depends. It depends again what you're selling. It depends what you're selling because, like if you're in the home market, papers will work. If you're selling, if you're in the grocery, if you're selling groceries, having a specials in the paper will work because there's certain groups of people who don't have access to internet or a smartphone. Some of them have a feature phone. The feature phone is that normal PEP phone, the phone you buy from PEP, that Nokia 3310. So most of the truth of the matter is the SA, 55 million of the population have that type of phone, a feature phone. In SA, there's only about 5 million of people we can actually talk to digitally. The rest of them, we're talking to them either by paper, radio, like radio, traditional radio, and print.
Okay, look, I know South Africa, due to the demographics of the population, has not been as quick in terms of the take up of digital solutions, as opposed to what I would term the Western world, Europe, America. So we are a little bit behind in that sense. But by the same token, I think increasingly people have now got smartphones from all sectors of the population, especially the younger generation. So if I had to turn that a little bit, and I'm saying, well, perhaps your traditional forms of marketing would still apply to the older population, and now your newer, younger population is not interested in the print media any longer.
Yeah, so that's true. With the rise of smartphones, the younger generations and the millennials and the Gen Zs they prefer online. But just as just trivia, South Africans spend the most time online. They're just below Kenya. Kenya spends about 9.5 hours a day on the internet. South Africans spend
Per
9 hours.
person.
Yeah, average. This is the latest stats. This is January stats.
Yeah.
South Africans spend 9 hours a day on the internet. And I think the reason being is because of load shedding. Because they are load shedding, they're on their phones, they're on their mobiles so much because of load shedding. So last year, this time, South Africa was number one. But I see this year, Kenya overtook them in the amount of hours online.
Okay, so again, digital marketing over physical activation marketing. Give us examples of some successful digital marketing campaigns, and then also some physical marketing campaigns.
So if you look at the big brands, like Nike,
Right.
they utilize influencer marketing, like Jordan and Michael Jordan and all these great athletes. That's their marketing. They invest in athletes because they know athletes, people follow them as role models.
Correct.
So they use a lot of influencer marketing. So those athletes are their influencers. Right. So on a digital point, those athletes are posting daily on social media, tagging them and mentioning them. So they're getting a lot of mentions and a lot of reach. That's one example of digital. On a actual physical marketing, so one of my best brands is Coke. And you remember a few years ago, Coke had where you can go and print your name out on the can.
Yes.
That was a perfect example of a physical activation. And they had, if you remember, at the malls, people were lining up for their name on the can.
Right.
They created a lot of buzz. So that was a good example of a physical activation.
Yes, but if you take a brand like Coke, I mean, it's renowned the world over. I mean, probably by leaps and bounds, the best selling fizzy drink that's out there. Yet they would spend many, I think, I wouldn't even say hundreds of millions of rands on marketing each year worldwide.
Yes.
So a company like that, would they be more inclined towards physical or digital?
Well, they use both. I mean, end of the day, it depends on the type of company. Like Coke is a brand, is a food brand. It's a drink. So if you are in the food industry, you are in the automotive industry, you are in the drink industry, you want to taste. You want people to taste and experience use their senses. So it depends on even fashion. If you're selling fashion, people want to wear the clothes, they want to see the colors look well, they want to smell the clothes, they want to stretch and pinch the clothes, the fabric. People, that is where physical comes in, where people want to experiment with something before they buy it.
So your expertise being in the digital marketing space, an example of maybe one or two of your successes that you've had in the digital marketing space.
So I love what I do in terms of I can sit and work on it online 24/7.
Right.
So a few years ago
You're adding to the statistics. Yeah.
So a few years ago we had these protests in Durban, and remember those riots.
Yeah.
And my biggest success was after the riots. All those clients who were in Durban, I was trying to motivate and tell them, guys, you need to go online, start your online store. I got like orders, like 20 orders one time, online stores. Please, I need you to build my online store. I got a fashion store in Gateway. I need you to do my online store. So for me, I've been busy and I've been loving building online stores.
Okay. So this would be building online stores from a point of view of firstly marketing the product, showcasing the product, and then coming down to final where actual payment can be made on that build of yours, and then there would be some sort of a dispatch of the goods that have been ordered to the customer. So I mean, it's a complete kind of web design.
Yeah, it's a full turnkey solution with shipping, merchant account, everything set up, and all the customer has to do is so the courier, once a sale goes through, the client prepares the item to be collected by the courier, and the courier will fetch it. If the courier fetches before 4 p.m., it's in the customer's hand the next morning by 10 a.m.
Okay. I suppose that depends on the efficiency of the courier companies as well.
Yeah. So asking me about success was I did launch a shoe shop, online shoe shop. And the first sale I sold to a guy in America, he was in South Africa at the time. He bought the shoe today at 2 p.m. Next morning, he was flying back to Atlanta, and the shoe was in his hand, on his feet, at 10 a.m. And he took the shoe and he went to America.
Okay. We used the word a little earlier, or you did, called the influences. And I mean, in general conversation, the type of numbers that I hear in that the influence of the influencers, so to speak, where you get somebody to promote a product or to write good about a product or to share their experience, and if it's one of these influencers, the type of feet it brings in, the type of people that start ordering. I mean, it's mind-boggling that certain individuals can have such a big influence. So tell me a little bit about influences. I'm quite intrigued by this.
So the trend right now for the past couple years, it's no more brand focus. Like before, prior to like maybe 2 years ago, brands were taking over. Brands were dominating. Now influencers are dominating. You'll find even a micro influencer, somebody might have 5,000 followers and she's got people eating off her hand. Now, I actually grew my business using an influencer. This lady had an email list about 7,000 people, and she used to, now and then I used to book her to email a newsletter out for me, and I'll get a full class. And that's how I grew myself from 2017 to 2019. That's how I used her services constantly, and that's how I grew myself. She was an influencer on an email on email, and one of her, most of her subscribers will tell me straight, hey, we got our money in our hand. We're just waiting for her newsletter, and we just want to spend anything she punts. We want to buy it.
But does that not mean that people are not thinking for themselves? They're kind of just being influenced.
They trust us so much that they'll buy anything from her, and that's how I filled up my classrooms. I filled up classrooms with 30 people in the, workshops with 30 people just by using her newsletter. And so it's like this. It's about know, like, and trust. It's about know, like, and trust. So what the influencer does is they build a relationship with their followers over time. They build the trust, they build the credibility, and they build the authority. Now, if I am an ordinary consumer of your product, and I'm happy, and I go and give you a very good testimonial, you as a brand can say as much as you want. You can spend 10 million on a TVC, right? But if I'm as a consumer, happy consumer, and I say this guy is the best, use his services, I'm doing two things. One, I'm tapping into my network, because among my followers, my network, I am an influencer. I'm a brand advocate, right? So I'm tapping into my network, and I'm also giving you a good testimonial. I'm telling people, hey, this guy is the best.
How factual is the actual influencer? Because is it not really based on the fact that influencer is now getting what I would term in inverted commas a C right by promoting that particular product? For example, there's a restaurant, and we won't mention any restaurants, but now that restaurant reaches out to an influencer and says, hey, come and have a free meal at my restaurant. Now, immediately there's a kind of tacit agreement, be it written or not, that influencer won't speak badly about that restaurant because they're getting a free chow there, so to speak, right? Now, that influencer then goes, has a free meal, and sometimes takes the whole family and the extended cousins and has a free meal. And no matter how good or bad that meal turns out to be, the influencer now is going to say, hey, I had a wonderful meal at this restaurant because the meal was for free. So it's not an unbiased opinion that's being given there. If that influencer had paid for that meal, then they can write an objective story about how good the biryani was and how bad the dal and rice was, or whatever. But immediately the influencer is given a free meal or a subsidized meal, there's a bit of a bias that comes in. So is the influencers really then the go-to people?
Yeah, so there is some that me honestly, personally, I don't like that, because
Right.
I feel that it's like coercing the person, pushing the person towards it. But I think it should be authentic. I believe it should be authentic. You should be using influencers who have, who are legit, not just there for the money, not just there for the promotion. There are a lot of influencers out there, but you gotta do your due diligence and find the right influencers. Don't just choose influencers.
Well, if I was that restaurant, I'm going to get the influencer that's going to write good about me. I'm not going to worry about one that's going to be writing only the truth, because I don't want my food at my restaurant, no matter how good or bad it is, to be bad-mouthed. I want them to write good because that brings the customers in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to look for an influencer that's going to say, yes, I'll come in. Yes, I'll eat your food. There may be even some exchange of money that takes place. Who knows? But then I'm kind of guaranteed to write you a good review, so to speak. That will happen.
Yeah, that's happening. That's what's happening at the moment. That's what's happening, especially in Durban. It's happening.
Okay, let's look at costs. Influencers aside, but just cost. Talking about digital marketing, and we're talking about physical activation marketing. Now, I wonder sometimes to myself that these big search engines like Google, how do they make money? Because they don't charge you when you're searching for a particular product. As a consumer, I'm talking about. But somebody is paying the price, and somebody is allowing them to make the money. So tell me a little bit about that.
So on the search engines, they do make money. The search engines make money from the click. It's called pay-per-click. So the advertiser, he pays every time somebody searches for a specific keyword, and that visitor clicks on it, he pays. It's called cost per click. So cost per click is when the visitor searches for something, and he clicks and he goes to the advertiser's website or the phones the advertiser, that's when the advertiser pays. But depending on the industry, it can be cheap and it can be very expensive. Like certain industries like insurance, it could be like 200 and a click. So it doesn't make sense for them to advertise on Google. So it can be profitable. You also got to make sure that you got the right objectives when you are advertising.
Yes, obviously there must be huge amounts of money to be made, because some of these search engines have become worldwide massive companies, sometimes ranking as 10 largest in the world.
Yes.
So they revenue from advertising must be massive, absolutely massive. So are you saying that there's companies that would just be waiting there on the sidelines, pay these search engines to put their product or their website as the number one in the queue, so to speak?
Yeah, so it works on an auction system. On a bidding system, and maybe the top 5 bid for the top. So when you do a search on Google, there's 2 parts. There's a paid listing and there's an organic listing. Organic listing is the free listings that you get from Google, right? So they're still quite powerful, but now with the new Google, the ads push all the organic listings right to the bottom. So in most cases, when you are doing a search on Google, you are getting an ad. You're getting an ad. And how you know an ad is below the ad, it says ad or it says sponsored. If you see ad or sponsored, you know that's a paid ad. So for that guy to be on the top 3 position, those three advertisers are competing with each other. It depends on the bid. The one that bid the most for that click is going to be number 1. So let's say that the cost per click is 20 rands to be on the top. The guy who's paying 25 rand would be number 1.
Okay, so and I think human psychology is such that you normally would click on the first one that you see.
Yes. So majority of people will click. Now with Google, what they do is they're so good at hiding that sponsored label or the ad label.
Right.
So people just click it. People
Okay.
they try their best, because obviously they want to give preference to the advertisers because the advertisers are feeding them.
Yes.
You understand? So Google and Facebook are the biggest companies in the world because of their advertising.
Absolutely. So another thing that intrigues me, and I know we're going a little bit off the topic here, but something that perhaps you can answer for me is, sometimes you're just talking to somebody about a product, let's just say luggage or a holiday. And next thing, when you open your phone, you'll see one advert for a holiday, or if you're talking about anything in particular, you'll see an advert for that appearing on your phone. And you like think to yourself, how can this be? I was just talking to somebody about this, and suddenly now it's appeared on my phone. So now is somebody listening to what we're talking?
Yes, your
about?
phone is listening every single thing you're saying. Your phone is listening to what
Your phone is listening.
your phone is listening. So you can, I think on the Android device, you can actually disable that. You can go into privacy and disable it in your settings. You can, but it's not default. You got to go into your privacy settings and disable it.
So the default setting is that the phone is listening.
Your phone is listening, because I do a lot of training, and in one of my classes last year, I was doing a boot camp, and the two students became friends.
Right.
And one lady was just talking like how you and I talking,
Right.
and the lady was telling the other friend, you must get lion's mane. The other lady never heard of lion's mane. Even me, I don't know what lion's mane is.
Right.
As soon as this lady Sharon opened up her phone,
Yeah.
she sees lion mane
Okay.
there, harvest table, lion mane there.
So that's amazing. I mean, the phone is listening to
The
you,
phone is
and
listening.
then it's going somewhere else for that advert to appear, right?
Yeah, that's guerrilla marketing. That's it happened to me personally.
Yeah.
In 2019, I wanted to go to Mauritius, and my passport expired.
Right.
And all I did was I just Googled home affairs near me. 2 days later, a lady contacted me on LinkedIn. She asked me, "Did you sort your passport out?" I didn't speak to anybody about the home affairs.
Right.
All I did was I Googled
Yes.
on normal standard Google, and then 2 days later she contacts me on LinkedIn. Did you sort your passport out? That was scary because I didn't talk to anybody.
No, I mean it's actually. I mean, how does this? We want to know about our privacy, and like, so there's no privacy because you're saying the phone is listening all the time.
Your phone is listening. Listen, your phone is listening. Your smart device is listening. Your watch is listening to you. Everything is listening to you. Everything is listening to you. Imagine if you're taking your phone to the toilet and all these places.
No, it's so we got to be very careful
Yeah.
of what we do, who
So-
we speak to.
So what
we
I
say.
do when I go to the toilet, I just switch my network off because I don't want my phone to pocket dial anybody while I'm in the toilet.
I've got Sunil Stupasad in the studio with me, and we're talking digital marketing as opposed to physical marketing. And it's been quite an interesting discussion so far, to the extent where we've kind of worked out that our phones are listening to us all the time, and that to me is quite something that is actually scary, but something we have to live with. But while we were off air, just a bit off the topic, Sunil says to me he hails from Verulam, and they don't have any water in Verulam. So I said we can have all the digital technology that we have, but yet something as basic as water has become a problem. Amazing where we're going and how we're going. Something to just ponder about is this thing. Sunil has come up with an innovative solution to that. He's taken out a gym contract. So whenever he wants to have a shower, he goes to the gym, because Verulam apparently is still a problem with water. So yeah, Sunil. Okay, let's talk about technology. And like, I was watching a video earlier today about artificial intelligence and how this is going to take us into the future, where you literally don't even have to think. Artificial intelligence is going to do all that for you. So technology is moving at an amazing pace. I mean, I don't think any of us is able to keep up with it. But you guys who are the real practitioners on the ground, you really must be having to have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah. So for me, from a digital marketing point of view, AI has helped me a lot. From a content creation point of view, in terms of creating content, in terms of creating videos, social media posts, blog posts, articles, from that point of view, where it will take me one day to write a blog post, I can write a blog post now in 1 minute with AI and ChatGPT. And AI is so advanced now; it can actually create a video for you. It can create slides for you, PowerPoint. Today, I saw a video. Talking about today, I saw a video where in India, where you can actually go to a doctor and AI can give you a just see what's wrong with you.
A complete checkup.
A
I
complete
saw that
checkup.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in Mumbai.
Yeah, Mumbai was the first country I saw that.
Yeah.
So technology is moving at a rapid rate, but there's still, I still believe that there's still a long way to go in terms of AI taking over humans. I saw a good meme the other day. It says that AI is not going to replace humans, but a human using AI will replace your job.
A human using AI.
A human using AI will replace your job.
Right. Okay.
If you refuse to use AI.
So what you're saying is adopt the technology, embrace it,
and embrace it,
and run with it.
And think about it carefully. In the early 1920s, they asked people about transportation. What do they want? Before the automobile was invented,
Right.
People said, we want faster horses.
Faster horses. Yeah.
Right. Now that with the advent of the car, who is going to go back to the horse? So I believe
only those that are betting. Yeah.
I believe that technology is a blessing. It's here to change. You got to embrace it.
Look, I say you either you move with it or you get left behind. But I mean, we have to take cognizance of the fact that there is an older generation, and I'm saying those that are probably about 65, 70 and above. People are living longer as well. So you're getting people living to 90, 95. Unfortunately, they were born at a time when this computer generation, so to speak, was not there. And a lot of them have not embraced that technology. They just still rely on the newspaper. They still rely on all of the so-called old things that they've been used to. So we still have to be cognizant of these people and make sure we provide for them.
Yes, we got to. That's why I say that traditional is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. There's still a demand for it. There's still a need for it.
With the movement in technology and with digital marketing becoming so much bigger, are the costs coming down?
Yeah, costs are coming down much more. They are, compared to what we were paying 5 years ago, cost has come down a lot. in terms of marketing, advertising, the reach. Okay, reach is, in terms of reach, it's getting harder because of algorithms and stuff. But if you use the right campaigns, you can stretch. If you put the right tools in place, you can get a lot for your budget.
Okay, so let me take a bit of a silly example. I'm a part owner of a few paddle courts that we have out here in the Reservoir Hills area in Chilton. And my target market is people that are living around that area. One. Secondly, people that would be wanting to play this game of paddle, so to speak, which is a mix of tennis and squash, and have the time and the ability to come there and try this game out. So I have a very specific target market, from a logistics point of view, from a demographics doesn't matter. It can be anybody that plays it, but we're not targeting people that are going to be 75 years old because they're going to come and get hurt. So how do I now decide which route to take?
Yeah, because it's a sport, social media will be the best form for you. Facebook, Instagram will be your best bet because of the targeting and the demographics. You can reach people according to age, gender, where they live, and what they interest based, even psychographics. You can choose what books they read, what sports they into, whether they're into rugby.
So you can be very specific.
You can be very specific with it. But I can tell you honestly, after running ads for the past 7 years in Durban, I can tell you 99% of most agencies and advertisers, they're not using Facebook ads the right way.
Okay.
They're actually leaving a lot of money to fall by the wayside. There's things like pixels and cookies which are not you've seen the cookie notice when you go to a website.
Right.
So most of that, the cookie is there for you to, as an advertiser, for you to save money and to recycle your budget. Most of the companies that I work with, they don't have basic stuff like the pixel and the cookie installed on their websites. Those things. Let me give you an example of how the cookie works. You visited Takealot. It's the middle of the month. You saw a nice handbag or maybe a watch. You left Takealot without buying it.
Right, but you saw it.
You saw it. 2 days later, you're on Facebook. That watch is following it, stalking you.
The watch is stalking.
The watch is stalking you.
Okay.
Now, it's not the universe or God wants you to have that watch.
Right.
It is the cookie, the pixel. That's how the pixel works. Now, look at these stats. They say 90% of people who visit your website are not going to buy from you.
Right.
But of that 90% of people who don't buy from you, when they are hit with the pixel, 60% of them come back and buy it.
Okay.
So look at that stats. 60% of them will come back and buy.
In the old days, they used to call it subliminal marketing. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's how the cookie works. And majority of the advertisers in Durban, they're not using it the right way.
Okay, so would you say it pays to go to a company that specializes in this rather than trying to do it on Facebook or on your own?
Yeah. So there's two flavors of Facebook ads. There's your normal Facebook page where you hit the boost button. So 99% of advertisers or businesses are hitting the boost button.
Right.
There's another side of Facebook called Facebook Business. This is where you got the business manager and the ads manager. This is where the power comes into Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising is still the most cost-effective way of advertising if used right. It's the cheapest. So imagine now I got a thick stack of 10 Rand notes.
Right.
And I'm selling those 10 Rand notes for 2 Rand each.
Yes.
How many are you going to buy from me?
I'll buy them all.
You're going to buy all of me because you got to look at Facebook ads like that. You put in 2 Rand, you're getting 10 Rand or 20 Rand.
Okay, so, I mean, what type of budget do I have to spend on advertising before approaching a person like yourself? Because by and large, I'm thinking that, we're too small to be interacting with a company like yours.
So I would say any company, minimum you should spend is 30K a month on Facebook.
3,000 Rand.
Not less than 3,000 Rands.
To get good reach.
To get good results.
Right.
If you're going to spend less than 3,000 Rands a month, you are going to get the wrong audience. You're going to get a lot of likes. You're going to get a lot of ha-has. People are going to like your posts, but they're not going to buy.
Okay. I think we leave it on that point because that's enough food for thought. So If somebody's got 3,000 Rands a month to spend on a consistent basis, you'd be happy to entertain them.
Yes. So what I would say is, so I don't work with those small budgets because it's too small. My fee is 30% of the budget. You understand?
Right.
So 30% of 3,000, the person
Already
needs
1,200 is gone. Yeah.
the person needs you add my fee to that.
Right. Okay.
So if you got to add
Another 900 rand.
yeah. So I would say that's where I come and train. That's why so since 2017 I've been training a lot of companies on how to use Facebook ads the right way. That's how I started this business.
Okay.
Just to make sure that companies leverage digital technologies.
Okay, excellent. Sunil Supersad, great having you here with me tonight.
Thank you, Anwar.
I've learned a lot, I must say.
Thank you.
Wish you everything of the very best in your Yash Tech business.
Thank you.
And we're definitely going to be talking again in the future
Thank you.
on different aspects of digital marketing.